Welcome to Psychic Insights, where pop culture meets higher consciousness and the tea is always a little bit mystical. I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and around here we don't just watch the drama unfold, we read the energy behind it, whether it's celebrity scandals, reality TV, chaos, or true crime with a twist. I'm tuning in to bring you the intuitive scoop the headlines miss. So buckle up, because your aura's about to get entertained. Hello again, it's Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and this is part 2 of taking an energetic look at Ron Owens' family bonds. But before we begin, I want to be really clear about the nature of this episode. This content is spiritual, symbolic, and intuitive commentary only, and as we know, it's not a legal analysis or psychological diagnosis, and not a statement of fact about anybody's individual intentions or actions. All my insights here are based on energetic patterns, symbolic systems like astrology, human design, or the Lenormand cards, and are offered for educational purposes and entertainment only. So take what resonates and then what doesn't. And you guys have been asking about Ron. So we're going to talk a little bit about this family, Ron and Jan Black. Some stories don't end with a rupture. They linger, they evolve. They reach moments where conversation and support can no longer delay choice. And it's not about villains here, not about blame. It's about two people, two parents who live very different realities, and a daughter raised between them too, actually. But we've been lighting up about Laura Owens and the moment when old agreements stop working. All right, so let's begin with Ron. If you didn't see the first part, here's a little update about him, or, just a little bit of energetic update. He's a Libra sun, conjunct the midheaven. So he carries the signature of fairness, mediation, public responsibility. Libras don't push, Libra weighs. And with a Pisces moon, Ron is deeply empathetic, emotionally porous, and highly sensitive to conflict. He feels more than he shows. And in his human design, he's a generator with sacral authority. He's a profile 4/6, the opportunistic role model. And this tells us something essential about him. Generators tend to respond to life, and they don't force outcomes. And in a 4/6 profile, he will withdraw later in life, not out of bitterness, but in wisdom. And Ron's design says, let life teach what I cannot. So how Ron's energy patterns of a parent are: as a father, he parents through stability, provision, consistency, and he trusts in autonomy. His unspoken message would be something like, you're capable, you'll figure it out. And that works beautifully for children who already feel emotionally secure. And we'll look at Sarah later. But for Laura, for children who need emotional mirroring, it can feel like distance, even if love is present. So now let's look at his wife, Jan Black, otherwise known as Elizabeth Naylor. And she's the explainer. Her energy is a manifesting generator with a 2/4 profile with the right angle cross of explanation. And her design is pretty powerful. She has a defined throat and gives her she has also mental clarity, but she's also a consistent narrative voice. And she has a need to explain reality to feel safe inside it. So if you've ever had that experience, someone telling you what your reality is, right? She also has an open G center, meaning identity is often shaped through story and context. And Jan parents through meaning making or explanation or framing emotion into a narrative. her unspoken message would sound something like this. Let me tell you what this means. Now, let's talk about the marriage and the contract between them. So before Laura and Sarah, there was a marriage. Marriage isn't just romantic, it's energetic, it's contractual. And Ron and Jan entered that contract with very different orientations to the truth. So Ron in marriage is duty-driven, fair, conflict-avoidant, honors agreements quietly. And for him, commitment meant, let's make this work without harming anyone. Even when emotional intimacy faded, his responsibility to Jan remained. All right, so Jan in marriage, she's meaning-driven, she's narrative-oriented, and she needs validation on her perspective. For her, partnership meant see the world the way I see it. And when that didn't happen, explanation increased. So the marriage actually shifted, and it wasn't explosive, it was gradual. One partner stepped back emotionally, maybe even physically, and the other leaned harder into explanation. Over time, emotional partnership dissolved, but the contract remained parental, financial, reputational. And I think from some of the things that I have heard, that seems to align. So those of you who know more about this, let me know what you think. Okay, so then we have two parents, two realities, and the energetic shift is this. Ron trusts time, experience, and autonomy. Jan trusts explanation, framing, and narrative. Neither is malicious and neither is wrong, but together they create parallel realities. And children raised between parallel realities learn to adapt quickly. Now, how did this shape Laura? Well, Laura learned early stability comes from dad, meaning comes from mom, but there's tension. Ron avoids emotional escalation, and Jan moves towards it. Probably even stokes the fire in it, right? So Laura learned emotion brings engagement, explanation brings connection. Calm can feel like distance. Now, this isn't manipulation, it's adaptation. So as a child, that's what she saw, right? So children adapt to survive emotionally. My spidey senses say, and what we see in Laura is that because she had to adapt like that, this is what she knows and this is what she tries to get out of relationships. Okay, she's more like her mother. All right, so then I pulled cards. Oops, I put them away. All right, I think I mixed them up, but I pulled Birds, Bouquet, Fish, and Crossroads. Let's see if I have them. No, I don't have them close by. All right, I mixed them sometimes when I'm just hanging out, I just shuffle cards. Anyway, so I asked the one question: what is the current family dynamic and where is it heading? Now, the birds are ongoing communication, and they show conversations, anxiety, and back and forth. And this family is still talking, they're still processing, they're still engaged. The bouquet is politeness, gestures of goodwill, attempts to keep things pleasant. And this is emotional soothing, not resolution. Bouquet strongly reflects Jan's energy, explanation, paired with charm. And the fish tells us material support, provision, resources still flowing. Curious, right? Support hasn't stopped for Laura, right? So Ron continues to stabilize practically, even as the emotional boundaries begin to shift. And then we have the crossroads, and this is pivotal because the crossroads say this can't continue indefinitely. So for Ron, he will say, how long can I support without enabling? And for Jan, do I adapt or continue explaining? And for Laura, who am I without support and story? So conversation and resources have bought time for her, but time is running out. So where is each parent now? So Ron now, he's not angry. He's pretty clear. His energy says, I love you, I'm still here, but something has to change. This is generator clarity approaching a personal limit. And Jan feels pressure. When explanation no longer works, insecurity rises. Her design struggles when belief is challenged, and this creates tension, not resolution. So what does 2026 hold? For Ron, reduced emotional engagement, continued support with boundaries, nervous system protection, quiet withdrawal into dignity. He doesn't disappear, but he redefines his access to him. So if there is a trial, I don't know that we will not see him in court, but I think we will have a sense that he's just present rather than like supportive in the way that you would want your dad to be supportive, right? So in 2026, Jan has the increased need to justify the narrative. No surprise there. Difficulty adapting if explanation fails. And I think I talked about this in another episode about what will she do if Laura is put into incarceration of some sort, but enforced incarceration or enforced containment. I'm going to put it that way because I think I've mentioned before, I think that, while I see her in some sort of confinement, I don't know if it's prison or some other situation. And then she'll have pressure to renegotiate old contracts. But, as we've looked at Laura before, this is definitely 2026 is a pivotal year for her because resources are not going to decide her future. Choice will. She will have the choice to face and accept accountability. She's going to have to look at herself, like who is she? What reality does she live in? And how she self-regulates without buffering. So let's talk about the bigger message, because this story isn't about cruelty. It's really about about families with very different love languages, and very hard. They avoid the hard conversations, and they have protected too long. So eventually, they'll reach a moment where support and conversation can no longer replace decision. And as we see, the story is not over. But it's reached a moment where the old agreements have expired and new ones must be chosen consciously. And this is where truth begins. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear in the comments, because this is fascinating family dynamics that we get to see, right? We get to kind of learn from astrology and human design and even our Lenormand cards about what this family dynamic has produced and who they are in this contract together. And the next one I think we'll do is we'll take a look at Ron and Sarah, and then I think I would like to do the whole family dynamics. We'll see. I might have to have coffee for that one. Anyway, I appreciate your support, and like and follow, share with people, ring the bell, do all the things. And if you're interested in my 2026 forecast, go grab it. Go to my website, yourpsychicgirlfriend.com. It's only $44, and it'll help you leverage the year of 2026. And until next time, stay grounded, stay discerning, and trust what your body already knows. And I will see you in the next one.